This is a test. This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcasting system. This is only a test.
Who can hear this interview to know. As much as I'm supposed to be promoting this movie and talking about my album, I just feel like we're in competition right now because they are trying to normalize the devil. They are trying to the devil is on the main stage at award shows and in every video and signs and symbols. And I said, you know what? We need to stop treating our relationship with Jesus like the little buddy that you talk to before you go to bed at night and not be more vocal about all the things that God means to us and all of the things that God has brought us through. Because there's been a lot of moments that you didn't post about. But yet you know, how did God decide to get me through this?
Yeah, man.
And yeah, they going above and beyond to promote the devil. And it's pissing me off.
I can't understand people smiling. It's all beyond me.
Lucky savage, no expression. About to burn on my possessions. I'm infection, quickly spreading. Not too keen on my
Welcome everyone to the Best Damn Podcast. I am your host, John Keane. As always, I would like to thank you guys for joining me. Ask that you please add, follow, and check us out. Check us out, Twitter, The Real Best Damn, Facebook, Instagram, Best Damn Podcast. Make sure if you're watching this live, you hit the thumbs up. You catch it on the flip side, you hit the thumbs up. Share this link. Help us to get it out there. That way new people can find us. And make sure to subscribe. Guys, we got a really good one tonight. I've taken a lot of time putting this one together. And you know what? I'm never surprised. Well, actually, maybe I am, I guess. You know, but at the intensity that things continue to speed up, at the intensity that the agenda continues to propel us forward, we now have the WHO and the European Commission announcing the landmark digital health partnership. We have gay marriage is being brought back on the table, you know, and it's like been all in the media because of gay pride. We're going to talk about the trans agenda. We're going to talk about sexualization of children, you know, kind of the norm, right? We're going to be looking at what's going on with Russia, biological weapons. The Russian defense minister has come out bringing more attention to biological weapons in the United States and NATO and exactly what they're doing. Yes, Biden is now kind of under the microscope, and people are afraid that whistleblowers might come up missing. It's kind of reminiscent of Hillary Clinton, right? All the Clinton body count with all the people who had their missing teeth and shit that fuck with the Clintons. I'm wondering if it's going to be something like that with Biden as well. I do want to tell everybody thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys big time. I tried to put out a video a couple of days ago. I'm going to keep it real. You know, that was just kind of like something to hold everybody over. Tonight's going to be full-length live show, and if you guys are in the chat, make sure to be active because I will be paying attention to the chat, and I will try to, you know, get to whatever's in there as well. It looks like we have Captain Truth, Illuminated Veritas, Truth Behind the Lie, Jam Low, this is Blessings, to see if it actually airs tonight. Yeah, I was going to do it last night, but just to keep it real, I was tired after putting everything together, so I decided to push it to tonight. Now we get it tonight, you know. Lots of interesting things going on astrologically as well. We're going to talk about some of that, you know, a little bit later on. I've got so many cool videos, so many cool articles. I hope you guys stick around. Make sure if you're in that chat, all bets are off. That's right, all bets are off. Absolutely. I appreciate all you guys so much. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Let me kill the music and get this thing going. And if you're in the chat, make sure to let me know if you guys can hear me and you can see me, and you know, all of the audio and video is clear. I am, you know, broadcasting from my new place and all of that, so I'm not really sure, you know, if everything's working, you know, super good here. It seems like it is, right? It seems like it is, but I'm just trying to make sure. We're going to start off here with they want global dominance and total health control. And you know what's so weird? You guys that have watched me for a long time, or people that have watched me for a long time, I mean, this is what you're kind of used to, right? You're kind of used to seeing these videos. We talk about these topics all the time. It always blows my fucking mind, though. Like, you know, like at my job, people that actually see my content and they find out that this is what I've done for years and like this is what I'm actually into, they're like, wow, you know, you actually know what you're talking about, or you know, that's pretty good. It's kind of cool and refreshing, you know, for people that you would probably consider normies, people that are really not into this, to see how many people are really open to the truth now, as opposed to when I started all this. I remember back in 2015, 2016, so many people were just completely closed-minded. I caught so much shit from friends and family, and I know you guys can relate to that. I had people fucking block me on Facebook, people that I grew up with, you know, family members that wouldn't speak to me, girlfriends that broke up with me. I mean, like, it was really wild back then, you know, and it just shows you how far we've came. And the reason I feel like we've gotten so far, bringing awareness and light to the truth, is because of people like you. You know, the people that are watching this video right now, or the people that will watch this video. It's people like you, the ones that post this stuff, that share this stuff, share the content, share the videos, you know, and they can continue to try to silence us and censor us and shut us down. You already know, man, it's not going to slow our roll one fucking bit. I don't do this for the money. I got a real job. I'm doing this strictly for the passion, strictly because I love it. You know, and strictly because I really would like to see our world become a better place. I'd like to see people become more aware of the things that are taking place within our society, within our governments, within our religious systems, our financial systems, right? That way we can kind of take control and shape what our future looks like, you know, and maybe give a fighting chance to our children, our children's children, and future generations, you know. But maybe that's just, you know, a pipe dream. I don't know. Great to see you. Audio check is good. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you so much, man. Yeah, we are finally being vindicated. And it's like, does it feel good to be vindicated? That's kind of, we'll start there. Like, for those of you that have been warning people about these things and, you know, kind of sharing this with friends and family, is it really a good feeling to be vindicated? Yeah, it is in a way, but also at the same time, it's like, I don't think any of us truly wanted to be right about what we thought was going to happen years ago. And the fact that we're now in the midst of all of that, we're right in the middle of all of that, we're walking into this one world system, this new world order, you know, it's kind of like it's a really mixed bag when it comes to that. It's like, yeah, I feel great that, you know, what I've said over the years was truthful and factual, and, you know, it's now proven out. But it's like, at the same time, that means that we didn't, you know, listen to the warnings. That means we didn't pay attention. That means we're in a worse place than we were, you know, all of those years ago when we were warning people about all of this. You know, so it's really kind of, you know, I have really mixed feelings about all of it anymore. You know, and I never fuck with the news now. The only time that I get into the media whatsoever, guys, is when I'm doing, like, my videos now. It's like, if we're going over the media, and it's really so we can decipher, you know, the propaganda, the things that are being pushed down our neck. I can show you, you know, all of the symbolism, you know, the rituals that are going on with this. And I mean, it sounds like some fanciful, crazy shit to someone that's not in tune with all of this and not aware of what's going on. But those of you that know, you know, right? Our governments have been studying, you know, how the human mind, how the brain works, in depth for a very long time, and they use very suggestive programming, predictive programming, symbolism, and all of these things to kind of push us and sway us in the direction that they want to lead all of the masses into. And this is, television, period. That's why I don't watch TV. It is mind control. It is brainwashing, at its best, at its finest, The tell-lie vision, right? It's telling you lies in the form of visuals. It's good to see you, Pamela Dennison, up your 73. Thank you, guys. I appreciate all of you so much. Let's go ahead and jump into this. I won't try to talk too much. The World Health Organization and European Commission have announced yesterday the launch of a landmark digital health partnership. And it gets so much better. I've got so much shit on this. This is the first building block of the WHO Global Digital Health Certification Network that will develop a wide range of digital products to deliver better health for all. And here's a video of the launch. And let's make sure you guys got some sound.
It's a great pleasure to be part of this signing ceremony for the WHO Global Digital Health Certification Network uptake ceremony. A warm welcome specifically to our European Commissioner for Health and Food Safety, Mrs. Stella Kyriakides. A warm welcome also to Ms. Sandra Galina, Director General, DG Santé, and her team. We have with us from WHO side our Director General, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, and our Chef de Cabinet, Razia Pense.
And we've already talked about this. The serpent on the scepter, the serpent on the staff, the world in the crosshairs and the targets, right? With the 33 sections here. And anybody familiar with Masonic symbolism, right? Or the wreath or the Stephanos that's wrapping around the flag. Major symbolism within the World Health Organization flag just alone. But we've seen from the launch of COVID-19 and the scamdemic, everything since has been like this domino effect of this digitization of our society. And it's like we've seen the announcement of the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, a couple years ago. The digital passports, right, for the jabs and all of that. And it's like now we're moving to this digital health initiative, and this is going to strengthen global health efforts. But what it's actually doing is strengthening this surveillance state, this police state, and they're going to backdoor us through, the name of safety and security, how they kind of always do, right? And I like to refer to the war on drugs, the war on terror, the war on COVID, right? So on and so forth. This is what they do. It's always in the name of safety and security. It's always, something to further, humanity in some beautiful way. Hence the green agenda. We can keep going on and on with the different ways that they've fucked us up the ass with this kind of stuff, but this is just the latest in all of that. And I will show you here, the European Commission and WHO launched the landmark digital health initiative to strengthen global health security. Keyword, security, right? In June 2023, the WHO will take up to the European Union, or the EU, system of digital COVID-19 certification to establish, and let me preface this video, and I'm so sorry that I have to do this anymore, guys, but YouTube burns me if I don't every time, and not just YouTube, all of the platforms. I am not a doctor. This is not medical advice, health advice, financial advice, legal advice. I am not the news or anything of the sort. I'm just a guy with a fucking laptop. And we are talking about the things that are going on. This is relevant satire for entertainment purposes only. Take it with a grain of salt, fam. So, this is the first building block of the WHO Global Digital Health Certification Network. It will develop a wide range of digital products to deliver better health for all. See, it's a good thing. Better health for everybody. Who wouldn't agree to better health for everyone? Quote, building on the EU's highly successful digital certification network, the WHO aims to offer all WHO member states, all of them, access to open source digital health tools, which is based on the principles of equity, innovation, transparency, and data protection and privacy, said Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, the WHO Director General. Quote, the new digital health products in development aim to help people everywhere receive quality health services quickly and more effectively. And you know, this is how they're going to frame it. Don't let me start getting the yawns because I'm doing a video. The global system that helps facilitate the global mobility and protect citizens across the world from ongoing and future health threats including pandemics. It's like, if after the first, if you still think that we did the right, I mean, and you know what, I'm sorry, but I run into people every day that believe everything that they were told during that time period. I've known quite a few people that bought into all of that wholeheartedly, that still to this day, if they get a call for a sneeze, go run out and get a test. That still to this day are fucking lining up to get boosters and all this craziness, and still to this day shame anybody that didn't fall for the dumb shit like they did, you know? So, I mean, the fact that they're still pushing on this is fucking mind-blowing to me. You know, we've talked about how they never even proven this to even exist to start with. You know, the scientific method, you have to isolate something to prove it exists. That never happened. You know, that never happened, and that's neither here nor there, right? How many years later, how many jobs later, how many laws later, you know, how many, you know, all of this later, you know, and people have, and that just shows you that if you tell a lie enough times, that it becomes a truth, you know, and this is how history has been done, you know, from the whole start. You know, people, because it's trendy right now, and so many people, excuse me, are all about virtue signaling. You know, they'll jump on the fact that, you know, the colonialism and, you know, all of our history in the United States is not what it appears to be, because, you know, white privilege and all of that is unpopular, right? So people will jump on that, but they think that that still doesn't take place today. They think that hasn't taken place in the recent past. You know, and it's absolute insanity when you watch how the narrative was pushed, and anybody that went against this narrative spoke about this narrative in any other terms and other than what the mainstream media was pushing, they were canceled. They were silenced. You know, they disappeared. Matter of fact, the reason I have a different job today is because of this, because of COVID, because of the things that took place. And it wasn't because it killed my business like a lot of people had their businesses killed. It was because I'm in media and they silenced me, shut me down, and canceled me. You know, I just lost a Discord server 2 or 3 weeks ago with well over 1,000 people on it for medical misinformation, for other people posting links to COVID shit. You know, all this time later, you know, and it shows you, like, we are just scratching the surface on all of this, guys. Like, that only opened the door to allow them to bring in this new world order and this surveillance state, this police state, and this world governmental system, and get us adjusted to it. That way they could really bring it out, you know, in the next crisis, the next pandemic, you know, or whatever else they have planned. This is based on the EU Global Health Strategy and the WHO Global Strategy on Digital Health. The initiative follows the 30th of November 2022 agreement between Commissioner Kyriakides and Dr. Tedros to enhance strategic cooperation on global health issues. This further bolsters a robust multilateral system with WHO at its core, powered by a strong EU. This partnership is an important step for the digital action plan of the EU global health strategy. By using European best practices, we contribute to digital health standards and interoperability globally to benefit of those most in need. It is also a powerful example of how alignment between the EU and the WHO can deliver better health for all in the EU and across the world, and the directing and coordinating authority of the international health work. There is no better partner than the WHO to advance the work we started at the EU and further develop global digital health solutions. And that's how it breaks down. And advancing the work that they started with the European Union, right? That's one of those nation states that have been, created, taking away sovereignty. That's why we had Brexit and all of that just a few years ago during the whole Trump era. People kind of pushing back and rebelling against that with the rise of nationalism. And really that was only to bring in the demonization of nationalism. That way it could rear its ugly head for a little while in the form of controlled opposition like Trump. And then it could be snuffed the fuck out. Right? That way, we're into this post-nationalism era that we're in now, right? As we move into a more socialist, communist world governance. And I guess we're not going to get the PDF document for that one. But it looks like we have this one. I want to drop this in the chat for people. These are the global strategy on digital health. Let's see if we can get this to pull up. Not looking very good. Maybe right here. There we go. The Global Strategy on Digital Health, 2020 to 2025. Let me drop the link here in the chat for everybody. Most of your family still believes in the bullshit and gets their lollipops at the doctor's office. That's so funny. Terrain theory versus germ theory. I would have to look into that. Honestly, I'm not hip. What's up, Eric? Nice to see you. Yeah, our lovely government. Yeah, they're sacks of shit. Honestly, right? I mean, we've been put in a position. Digital coffins, right? Yeah, digital coffins is correct. See Cosmic Blue in the house. Man, I love you guys. I appreciate it. It's same people all the time. I love it. But you can kind of go through this and you're going to see the development of the global strategy on digital health underwent 2-year co-creation journey before its adoption into the 73rd World Health Assembly. The initial draft of the strategy document was drafted and disseminated for comments through an internal consultation in early 2019. And notice the year that this happened. Through its resolution, member states to consider drawing up a long-term strategic plan for developing and implementing e-health services, right? Remember, this is the Internet of Bodies now. It's not just the Internet of Things. This is the Internet of Bodies. That's why there's this big push for the e-health services. To develop the infrastructure for information and communication technologies for health to promote equitable, affordable, and universal access to their benefits. And keep in mind, universal, right? This is that universalism, which is, in essence, Luciferianism, right? And some people will be like, how the fuck did he just draw that connection? Watch some of my older videos. I'm not going to go into all that right now, but if you ever even checked out the universal churches or like the LGBTQ churches and all of that, right? It's a universalism. It's uni, it's one, right? The one world system, one world government, one world currency, right? And the same thing with this universal basic income, all of it, guys. All of it. And the country stakeholders are urged to direct their efforts towards creating consistent e-health vision in line with the country's health priorities and resources, developing an action plan to deliver the proposed vision and creating a framework for monitoring and evaluating e-health implementation and progress. More than 120 member states, including low and middle income countries, have developed such strategies and policies. And I will let you guys, check that out on your own time. Like I said, I dropped the link in the chat for those who are interested. And it gets better. It gets better. More shit on the world stage. And before we jump to this, here, we'll go down here and show you this. That way you can see exactly how big this is. Now, Iran just released a video showing off the Fatah hypersonic missile, and this is the scare of the world war, right? They're going to continue to push this, and you're going to see in a second how all of this connects. It can reach a speed of up to Mach 15, and it has a range of 1,400 kilometers or 870 miles. Features a movable secondary nozzle and employs solid propellants that allow for high maneuverability. North Korea has nuclear ICBMs. Syria is back in the Arab League, and Russia is winning in Ukraine. BRICS and the reduction of the US dollar in global trade turns US sanctions into a pillow fight. Yeah.
An unveiling ceremony more than 6 months in the making. High-ranking officials watch as the Revolutionary Guard's Aerospace Division displays what Iran says is its first domestically produced hypersonic ballistic missile. Named Fatah, the missile has a range of 1,400 kilometers and a speed of more than 15,000 kilometers an hour.
So for all you Trump fucks, right, that love Trump so goddamn much, remember when he busted the Iran nuclear deal? And he did it even though they didn't violate one bit of it? This is why, right? Iran is an ally of Russia. Russia is allied with China. China is allied with North Korea. Are you starting to get the fucking picture, right? Iran, North Korea, and Syria are the three countries not beholden to the US petrodollar. Get it? Petro, oil, Saudi Arabia and their oil and the shit that they're pulling with Russia now, and Joe Biden, the electrification agenda to undermine petroleum, which is the basis of the US dollar. Are you starting to get it? It's called scorched earth, where they come in, they bust every fucking supply chain, they bust all the power grids, they bust all the fucking energy, all the fuel, all the food, they bust all the exports and imports, they bust everything in the goddamn country to make it implode without ever dropping a bomb. Yeah. You know, just saying. And Microsoft found to illegally collect data on children. Are you surprised? Didn't even get a slap on the wrist. 20 million in fines, or 0.0008% of their value. Not even a slap on the wrist. And that is fucking crazy. Microsoft to pay $20 million to settle U.S. charges for violating children's privacy. And this is wild to see that there's no protection for kids anymore, right? If you're LGBTQ, if you're any minority, if you're any trans, if you're any special group, there is some sort of protection for you, right? And there should be. There should be protection for every person on planet Earth that has, people coming at their necks, coming at their heads, including white males, too, for people that don't believe they deserve protected. But anybody that's being demonized and people coming after them, there should be protection. But why are we protecting our fucking little ones? You know what I mean? Like, when did we stop doing that? And when was it okay for places like Balenciaga and all of this to fucking sexualize our children? Right? Microsoft will pay $20 million to settle the U.S. Federal Trade Commission charges that the tech company illegally collected personal information from children without their parents' consent, the FTC said on Monday. The company had been charged with violating the U.S. Children's Online Privacy Protection Act by collecting personal information from children who signed up to its Xbox gaming system. So do your kids play games? Mine do. Without notifying their parents or obtaining their parents' consent and retaining children's personal information, the FTC said in a statement. And it's like through the Xbox, it's through the video games that they're tracking and data mining your kids. And that's fucked up because they're really targeted by these games. And most kids, my children love video games. I mean, way more than I did, and I love the shit too. Okay? It took less than 60 seconds of standing on a sidewalk for Damon Atkins to be placed in handcuffs and arrested for quoting a portion of a Bible verse in Reading, Pennsylvania at a pride march. And this is where it gets good. And I don't want people to get the wrong idea from any of this. If I talk about any of the LGBTQ, any of the trans stuff, that doesn't mean I'm against gay people or gay marriage or any of that. I'm a classical liberal is what I'd like to call myself, if we have to use any terms, or libertarian, or, you know, I'm not one particular group, but I lean more towards that stuff. I have conservative values, but I believe in, you know, everyone having equal rights, you know, and I think it's really, really fucked up that we protect some groups and not others. You know, I feel like, and I see people say, oh, I hate people that say all lives matter, and it's like, that's, you know, shit like that, that's disgusting to me. It's like, all lives do matter, not just black ones or Asian ones or Hispanic ones. Like, all lives matter, and all sexual orientations matter, and all religions matter. You know what I mean? It's like, the fact that we demonize some and make it okay to do so, and make it okay to attack some and not others, I find to be totally despicable, and I find to be, you know, it's stomach turning, especially the people that, the social justice warriors that virtue signal the fuck out of this and actually use it, you know, like they stand on this shit, like there's any morality in any of this whatsoever. So let's take a look.
Well, here we are in Reading. We got a bunch of people coming from out of town to celebrate evil. It was a wonderful providence of God. I was driving with my family down the road, and we passed this. Met some faithful brothers over here that are standing. I came out and got to preach for about 12 minutes before a cop got in my face, laid hands on me, and threatened to arrest me if I didn't stop. Of course, I don't have my GoPro camera with me because I wasn't coming out, had no idea this was happening, I just happened to drive by it. But the gospel went out. They got drag queens, they got children here, they're about to do a flag-raising ceremony in this Satan's cesspit. Our own mayor, Eddie Morion, is out here, and yeah, no, this is the type of insanity. Now, what's amazing about Reading is it is largely a Hispanic population, but if you don't know how well you can see, there's not a lot of Hispanics out today. It's a bunch of white people. I'm sure they drove over from West Reading or from out of town because the Hispanic community largely would shun this. But, yeah, that's what we got. This is what they're doing in Reading City. Tyrant cops threatening older men and myself for standing out here. You got, oh, just everything you can imagine. So,
and let me just, and see, and this is why Christianity has such a bad name. Truth be told, it's really shitty if they're doing these marches in front of churches and they're doing it on purpose to be derogatory towards someone's religion. That's fucked up. I mean, no matter how you look at it. It's like Christians going in front of a mosque and doing it just to disrespect the mosque. Or Christians going in front of a satanic temple and doing it just to disrespect the temple, right? Like, it's just not cool. But at the same time, motherfucker, like, whether you believe they're gonna burn in hell for that or not, it's not on you to go fucking pointing your finger and calling them evil, demonic sacks of shit because who they love. You know what I mean? So it's like I really feel torn when I see these things sometimes, because it's, in one hand, it's like these people aren't really bothering anyone. They're just out here celebrating their sexuality. They're celebrating who they are as people, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's what's great about America, is the right to protest, right? The ability to protest and scream about what you believe in. Both sides. But when you're coming to their protest and you're trying to disrupt it, just like Antifa and all of that, coming to other people's protests, trying to disrupt it, whether you're doing it by violence and all of that, you know, I feel like you're trying to be a piece of shit, basically, you know. It's like calling these people evil, Satan, cesspool, and all of that. It's like, forgive me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the Bible say, judge not lest ye be judged, right? So it's saying we don't cast judgment on one another or cast judgment on our brothers and sisters, no matter what their sexuality is, no matter what the fuck they're into, because it's not our place. You know, that's between them and God. It's not our business. You know, it's like, do what you do. Worry about yourself. I get so many people, you know, in the comment section of my videos that talk smack about, oh, there's a pentagram in the background. So what? You know, is it bothering you? You know, in my old set, there was a pentagram in the background. So fucking what? This is an occult channel. You know what I mean? It's like shit like that. Or you used to talk about Jesus and you don't anymore. It's like, well, I've evolved in the way that I see things. You know, do you want me to stay the same for fucking 10 years? You know, I've been doing this a long time. You know, and at the same you know, point here, I feel nothing inside of me ever makes me want to judge someone for loving someone of the same sex. I just don't have it in me. I don't do it. It's not my thing, but it doesn't have to be. You know what I mean? It's like, that's like somebody trying to tell me that, trying to change me from being straight. It's like, I'm attracted to women. You know, you can't change what you're attracted to. And I feel the same way about fucking rapists and sex offenders. You know, if they're attracted to children, or if they're, you know what I mean, if they're forcing people, you can't change what they're attracted to. So it's hard to rehabilitate those kind of people. You know, that's why they're usually sickos. But at the same time, there's, you know, these people aren't harming anyone. You know, they're not harming anyone. Like I said, if they're doing this at a church and they're doing it intentionally just to be disrespectful, then not cool, you know, but at the same time, they're doing it legally. They got a permit, you know, so it is what it is. I would like to know your guys' opinions on some of these things, just to be honest, and just kind of, you know, see where you stand with all of this, what your thoughts are on all of this as well. To each their own, as long as you don't try and shove it down my throat. Live and let live. I agree with that. Everyone should keep their love life private. Well, it's like, I don't fucking go around telling you guys every time I bang a chick. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't do it. It's, so, I mean, at the same time, but if I was, let's say that, well, we can't say that. Let's say that they, you know, you weren't allowed to, and I've got these things that show, like, black pride, gay pride, all these different pride things, and how, and the, definition of it, and how it's all positive, and then when it goes to white pride, it talks about it as a derogatory movement. So it's like, you know, if you feel like you come from some type of oppressed belief or group or whatever, I do feel like you have the right to kind of stand up for yourself, you know, and say, hey, we're being oppressed. This is bullshit, what they're doing to us, you know, and we're proud of who we are at the same time, you know. I feel like we should be past this shit, where it shouldn't matter if you're gay or straight or whatever you're into. And I do feel it's kind of weird that people make a spectacle out of themselves like that. Like, oh, I'm gay, or I'm trans, and, you know, I need to make a parade because I sleep with men. Or, you know what I mean? It's like, straight people don't do that, but also straight people haven't had the same oppression that gay people have had for, you know, however long. But it has become pretty normal now. Matter of fact, we're going to see in an article today, there's like an over 71% approval for gay marriage now in the United States. So pretty much that's saying like 3 out of 4 people don't give a fuck no more. You know, it's pretty common. So, you just want to be left the fuck alone? Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Crystal. I appreciate you. If the LGBT community wants to do their thing, I don't have an issue with it, but time and place, says Christina Leja. I agree. You know, if they're doing it at a church, it's not cool because you know why they're doing it there. You know, you're not fooling nobody. It's the same thing like with the, you guys seen like the satanic people with the statues of the Baphomet and all that shit? How they were trying to put it at churches and all that. It's like, you're doing that to be a fucking prick. You know what I mean? You're wanting to ruffle feathers. You know, it's the same way of like, but I don't feel like people should be downing people for what they believe either. It's just a really hard topic to talk about. I probably shouldn't be giving my opinion on this shit, honestly, but it's like, I don't give a fuck. You know. Globalist drug maker Merck on Tuesday sued the Biden administration over the Medicare's new powers to substantially reduce drug prices for seniors under the Inflation Reduction Act, the opening salvo in the pharmaceutical industry's efforts to weaken the program. Merck sues Biden over Medicare's new powers to reduce the drug prices. And are you fucking surprised, right? You can see here, Merck has sued the Department of Health and Human Services over Medicare's new powers to reduce drug prices under the Inflation Reduction Act. The suit in federal court in D.C. is opening the salvo in the pharmaceutical industry's effort to weaken the program. Merck has asked a judge to block the HHS from forcing the company to enter into an agreement that slashes prices. Dude, these pharmaceutical companies are dog shit. Like, they are fucked up. They are the most despicable things on planet Earth. We've seen what Big Pharma has done to our world. We were all forced into the shit during COVID, and they had no liability whatsoever. And now that they're being forced to reduce prices for senior fucking citizens, people on a fixed income that live in nursing homes that are fucking dying and sick, they're throwing a temper tantrum when they make billions and trillions of dollars. It's just fucking despicable. People should be picketing these bitches. People should be protesting these bitches. We should be blackballing these bitches. But instead, nobody ever says shit. Why? Because Big Pharma sponsors every goddamn commercial, every television show you watch. So anybody that says a negative word about it goes missing, basically. You know, it's absolute insanity when you think about it. I mean, honestly. Another meteorite fireball over the Netherlands last night came to 29 kilometers and dropped 200 grams of meteorites over the southern Belgium. And this is a large fireball over the Netherlands. And we've had more and more fireballs. There was actually an article that came out, and hopefully we get to it, where they found giant chunks of a fucking planet inside of the Earth. You know, and it's kind of making people wonder, you know, taking them back to Planet X Nibiru, you know, Planet 9. Like, I don't know where you stand on that, but, you know, you never know. Even if it's just us going through a more dense part of space, or, you know, from the alignment of our own solar system and planets kind of shooting debris at us, it does appear that Earth has these catastrophic cycles, and there has been an exponential increase in asteroids and meteors and fireballs over the last couple of years, and you cannot deny that. It says Russia claims they collected evidence of an avian flu pathogen with lethality rate up to 40% in humans at a U.S. biolab in Ukraine. And this is the briefing right here. The briefing by the Chief of Nuclear, Chemical, and Biological Protection Troops, General Lieutenant Igor Kirillov, on U.S. military biological activity. And ever since we had COVID and all of this shit, right, the bio-warfare thing has been at the forefront. The U.S. blamed it on China. Remember Trump, the China virus, right? Even though we're not allowed to talk about it on YouTube, or they'll spank us, but you guys know what I'm saying. Like, there was a lot of iffy shit with that, you know, so whatever. But all the shit with Wuhan lab and all that. Now Russia's coming out, pointing the finger at the U.S., and we've already been told, like, that was just the beginning of the pandemics. We're not done yet. Let's see. Let's see what he had to say. The briefing by the Chief of Nuclear, Chemical, and Biological Protection Troops, General Lieutenant Igor Kirillov, on U.S. military biological activity. The Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation continues to analyze the military and biological activities of the U.S. and its allies in Ukraine and elsewhere in the world. And I am going to drop this link as well. Anytime I get an important link here, something, you know, kind of big, and something that, where do fireballs come from if we live in a dome? Merv, that's a good fucking question, right? But I have an answer for you. And it's been a long time since I've done videos on this stuff. people used to love these videos too. I used to do lots of videos on space and cosmic cycles and all of that, and catastrophism and all that. It was, you know, probably some of my most watched shit. I believe that we live in a plasmatic reality, electromagnetism, right? And that, you know, we have gases that escape from the crust. As it expands, those gases get trapped at the top of the magnetic field, essentially heat up, solidify, turn into different metals or minerals, and fall back down in the form of meteorites, to make a long story short. Or giant clumps, and we call them asteroids. If we live within a closed system, that kind of makes sense, right? You know, kind of like the greenhouse gas effect, right? Methane creates this boom, right? Traps more shit at the top, and this is why we see energy get trapped into the top, and we see auroras and cyclonic weather and all of this, right? And the more heated up we get, the more energized we get, the more chaotic the weather patterns get, and the more craziness we get with the gases and the meteorites and the tropical storms. So that's just to make a long story short. I'll get into to detail in a future video. So your mate had taken the shot when he was incarcerated. The other day he pulled out a weird filament material out of his hole. What hole did he pull it out of? I don't know. Same for your son. Well, my last girlfriend was vaccinated, so she was a good person, you know. So I mean, shit. Like, just because somebody got that doesn't mean they're a piece of shit, you know. People were scared. That's what I'll say about that. People were scared, you know, and they believed that the news and the media was telling the truth. They believed that the government was telling the truth. They didn't believe they had any reason to lie. Why? Because they wouldn't have lied about it. So they believe, like, well, if I wouldn't lie, then, you know, they wouldn't either. And it's like they were too trusting, you know. And I had an ex-girlfriend whose father had it and then passed. The last girlfriend I had, her father had it and didn't feel the same after. I mean, so I've seen a lot of people, you know, get it. Yeah, but you said it came out of a hole, Crystal. I'm just wondering what fucking hole it came out of. That's all I'm wondering. It's like, did he pull it out of his ass, or it was like a fine fishing line? It was like white, clear looking. What was that documentary? Where they go into the funeral homes and all the different autopsies, and it's like they pull out this fucking wiry shit out of all of them. It's Died Suddenly. You guys can check it out on rumble.com. It's free. It's a documentary called Died Suddenly. And you'll see all across the United States, since the pandemic, all the funeral directors and all that, when they're doing autopsies, which they've drastically reduced the amount of autopsies, they're finding these lines, you know, this wiry shit coming out of everybody that's had that. Tori says he's talked about transmission during sex. Yeah, I've heard of that too, but you know what? I've heard it comes into saliva and all types of shit. I mean, like, honestly, yeah, it's not dying even though the blood is drained. Well, I hate to tell you, when they drain the blood of these dead bodies, right, after they're gone, it's like clumps are coming out and shit. It's wild stuff, you know. And it's not people that just didn't have it, it's people who did, you know, so whatever, right? And they have all these aortic clogs and all of this. We can't even talk about it, guys. I'll get in trouble, so it is what it is. Yeah, I think it's got to do with graphene or something, Bailey. Yeah, it's graphene. We noted earlier that during the special military operation, documentary evidence has obtained confirming the employees of the Biosphere Reserve in Ascania Nova Kherson region were studying the migration routes of migratory birds and selecting and transferring biological material abroad. The task force of the Russian Ministry of Defense, together with officers of the Federal Security Service, Russell Kozendozer, have confirmed the collection and certification of avian influenza virus strains with a high potential for epidemic spread and the ability to cross the species barrier, particularly the H5N8 strain, whose lethality and human transmission can reach 40%. Remember that 1% of new coronavirus infections result in death. So imagine 40%, something actually legit fucked up, and what that would do. Despite effort by the reserve staff to destroy the biomaterials by cutting off the power to the refrigeration units and destroying the cryo reservoir with liquid nitrogen, specialists from the 48th Central Research Institute of the Russian Ministry of Defense found traces of genetic material of highly pathogenic avian influenza. Newcastle disease virus and abeloviruses, even in the samples that had undergone decomposition. According to the employees who remained in the reserve, the Ukrainian side offered them a large cash reward for removing or destroying the research results. Documents seized in the reserve's veterinary laboratory confirm the involvement of the Kharkov Institute of Veterinary Medicine and the work of the American UP8 and P444 projects and preparations for the Flyway project. Their goal was to evaluate the circumstances in which the transmission of diseases associated with economically significant infections may become uncontrollable, result in economic harm, and constitute a threat to food security. It is necessary to emphasize that once more that the U.S. Department of Defense and organization that has nothing to do with the research of bird migratory routes commissioned the projects. How about that? So they're letting you know. And let's see if we can't pull this up, it looks like. I would like to, though. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if we can pull this up. See if you guys can see. I don't know if you guys can see this on the screen here. Probably not. Probably have to see if I can get this pulled up bigger here. Maybe. No, it's not going to show. I don't know why it does that with this program. I need to switch back to the old program. But anyways, the deterioration of the epizootic situation with highly pathogenic avian influenza. You guys should really go check this out, because if you look in depth on this map that's on the screen here, it's really small. But it tells you, the damage that, was actually caused and everything from this experiment. So, we had already brought up the observed widespread bird mortality in the Ascania Nova Nature Reserve in 2021, which experts think is infectious in nature. The experiments being undertaken in a disregard for biosecurity regulations were recognized as the causes of the single-stage bird mortality. Against the background of particular concern is the increase in the incidence of bird flu in Russia and in European countries, where, according to the International Office of Epizootics, the disease has become a year-round disease with losses exceeding 3 billion pounds since 2021. And since the beginning of 2023, there have been 32 outbreaks of avian influenza recorded in Russia in all federal districts. And last week alone, the disease was detected in poultry farms in Kirov and Yaroslav regions. Quarantine measures for highly pathogenic avian influenza have been imposed in Moscow since the 17th of May, 2023. And this is just fucking crazy. And it's got the U.S. biosecurity strategies and all this shit, guys. I really think that you should probably want to look at this. And it says the recall, the United States published the National Biodefense Strategy in October 2022. The doctrinal paper identifies the biological risk management as a top concern for the U.S. So it's like the U.S. has talked about it too. It's not just Russia fucking, kind of trying to demonize the United States or make us look like sacks of shit. Tim Hamby, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you guys. You should test if you can. Oh my God, don't use it as an antenna. Please, don't do that. the Earth is a loosh or a slave farm. The controllers, serious, are pulling the plug. I've got some UFO shit, some ET stuff for you guys tonight too. I know some of you guys are into that for sure. John, can you put your video screen on the left-hand corner? The chat window is overlaying your video feed. What? I'm not sure what you're talking about here. I can move it though if you really want me to. Does anybody else want me to move it? What is wrong with this? It's overlaying my video feed. Let me see if I can fix this. Alright, there we go. I'm on the left-hand corner. I don't usually change shit for people watching, but I will for you this one time since you asked nicely. Okay, here we go. Back at it. Much better. Okay, I'm glad you liked it. Okay. Chilling ritual. Terrified nurse catches naked witches eating a carcass and haunting CCTV after setting up a cam in the back garden. Is this even fucking real? Is this even fucking real? Oh my god. And the horrifying image greeting two nature lovers when they check the trail cam. Ah! Yeah, right, dude. Yeah, fucking right. Dude, I don't even know. The witch is standing over the carcass. I have no clue anymore, guys. Corinnia Stanhope found a dead deer at the bottom of her garden in Powell River, Canada, and decided to set up a trail camera to see if it would attract any animals at night. And what she find was more disturbing than anything she thought she would capture. The 36-year-old claims she could not believe her eyes, with then her granddad Bob revealing the chilling footage next day. They saw two half-naked women appearing to dine on the deer's corpse. Yeah. To me, it's probably some bullshit. It's probably some bullshit. But we got a lot of satanic shit for this show, so, I mean, we do have a lot of satanic stuff to share. Different videos. People having dogs, or fucking dogs on Instagram, and all kinds of great shit. So, I guess we'll see here. I should probably move it along a little faster, that way I can actually get to some of this stuff. Where do I want to start here? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? Okay, let's go here. LGBTQ organizations give Target a list of demands amid boycott. And this is what I mean. We will boycott Target for being shitty to the LGBTQ community, but we won't boycott Big Pharma for killing everybody. You know what I mean? It's like, how fucked up are our priorities? You know what I mean? Honestly. They've taken aim at the LGBT inclusive campaigns tailored to the transgender community. And here are the companies facing boycotts: Bud Light, Target, Lego, Kohl's, PetSmart, North Face, Walmart, Levi's, Miller Lite, Adidas, Nike. Damn, that's a lot of companies facing fucking boycotts, isn't it not? Honestly, that's a lot, you know. Let's see the list of demands here. Today, the Human Rights Campaign, GLAAD, LGBTQ Task Force, National Center for Lesbian Rights, and National Black Justice Coalition, in partnership with more than 200 organizations, renewed their call for Target and the business community to reject and speak out against anti-LGBTQ extremism going into Pride Month. The organization said in a statement, which was obtained by Newsweek, businesses must continue to lead and respond with unwavering support for LGBTQ plus employees, shareholders, customers, allies, and the broader community, the statement added. The statement came as Target and other companies such as Bud Light and Kohl's have faced a wave of backlash and calls to boycott for LGBTQ plus items being sold for 2023 Pride Month. Isn't that fucking crazy? They're boycotting them and they're actually selling Pride items. Does that even make sense? Like, honestly. Like, why the fuck would you boycott? It's like, if you don't come out and say what we want you to say on top of it, we're gonna boycott you. We don't give a fuck if you're actually celebrating Pride Month. We don't give a fuck if you even came out with a clothing line for Pride Month. Fuck you. You're not doing enough. It's like, come on, man. Come on, man. The statement issued by the Human Rights Campaign and other LGBTQ plus organizations included a list of demands for Target. The list urged the company to issue a statement in the next 24 hours, reaffirming their commitment to the LGBTQ community. What the fuck? As well as replacing all the LGBTQ merchandise that was removed from stores and ensuring the safety of team members who are considered to be on the front lines of the ongoing boycott. You know what? Here's a fucking thing on this. If they remove some of the shit, so what? You know what I mean? If they caught a bunch of backlash from putting it out there, it's a goddamn business. It's not a political organization. You know what I mean? They're not your personal sponsor. And they wouldn't do it for any other political party or group. So why they're being forced and pressed into doing it for this is absolute insanity. If it killed their bottom line, I'd pull the shit off the shelves too. The fact that they even put it out there showed they were in support of it, guys. You know, and it's like now they're being told, here's our list of demands. You better fucking, you know what I mean, say that you're against this and that. It's just fucking insanity. You know, it's like, how many different people have been oppressed for so long? You know, they don't get clothing lines that come out for them. You know, they don't get none of this. And they didn't get to make demands to corporations that they better do this or that, or that we're going to boycott them, because nobody would have gave a fuck if they boycotted them because they were minorities, right? They were such a small population, nobody gave a shit, you know. Target and all businesses can leverage the support of the LGBTQ organizations to navigate this hate, so that together we can let extremists know unequivocally that just as with every other failed anti-LGBTQ plus campaign for the past, fear will not win, the statement said. And I feel like this is extremism in the other direction, right? By forcing them to put out clothing lines for it, forcing them to issue statements. It's like, you know, I understand like wanting to stand up and say, hey, don't let them bully you, I ought to take that off the shelves. And I feel like that's a pussy-ass coward move by Target. If you put something out for Pride Month and you got backlash, you know, why would you even put the shit out, you know? It's like you should have kept it out. You shouldn't let people bully you out of fucking taking it off the shelves. That's your bitch-ass fault for doing it. But it doesn't mean you hate LGBTQ. It means your business bottom line got hurt. So you were trying to recover. Same thing with Bud Light and its image. They got smoked when they put the transgender person on their ad. And you know what? Because that's such a small group of people. Not everyone is into it, and they don't want it forced down their throat. You know? And it's the same way. Like, LGBTQ wouldn't want Christianity forced down their throat, and they don't. You know, so it's like, I don't see why they don't understand it the other way around. You know, it's like, we gotta find some type of common ground when it comes to this shit. And you know, every time they put out a news article and a news story, I think it sets them back so much further. You know, every time they do some of this radical bullshit by trying to bully their way into the mainstream and bully their way into acceptance, it makes them look more forceful. It makes, the more you try to force something on people, the more they reject it. You know, and the more you show the extreme version of things, the more crazy it looks. You know, it's like, same thing with like showing transgenders and doing strip teases in front of children. Do you know how small of a portion of transgenders that is doing that? Do you know how small of a percentage of them that's doing that? Probably less than 1% of them go read to children in lingerie. Right? But that's what they show you on the media. So all of a sudden people are up in arms. They think every transgender is a fucking weirdo now. You know what I mean? When they're somebody that doesn't feel comfortable in their own body and they feel like they're born a different sex. You know, they're not hurting you by doing it. It's like, but then they take it a step further and they try to tell you that, your kid is trans when they're fucking 10 years old and they're not even old enough to develop sexually yet. And that they can have surgery when they're 15. It's just fucking insanity, and that's the forcing shit. And it turns people against it. This is divide and conquer. That's what it is. That's what it is. We should love one another no matter what we are, regardless. We shouldn't be forcing any of this on our children, including heterosexual shit either. I don't want straight women going and stripteasing in front of my kids and reading them books. And I don't want fucking men dressed up like women doing it either. I don't want nobody doing that shit to my children. You know what I mean? And people want to fucking virtue signal and applaud when, people do it and they're trans because they want to fit in and they want to look like they're woke and all of that. And it's like, no. We shouldn't be accepting the things that are extreme in either side. It's not cool in either way you look at it. We should be treating everyone the same. Right? That's how we actually get past all of this. It's like we don't give special rules to special groups. And we don't crack down on people because they're not part of the special group. And we don't crack down on people because they are. It's like, what happened to everyone was, equal rights. When we started doing away with the Constitution, we got into all this shit, and I'm telling you, it's only going to continue to spin out of control because this is helping further the agenda of divide and conquer. And that's as simple as it gets. FBI afraid informant could be killed over Biden family information if unmasked. Congresswoman Luna. The informant has accused President Biden have been involved with an international bribery scheme.
Well, the chairman of the House Oversight Committee and FBI Director Christopher Wray are still at odds this hour over a form that alleges President Biden engaged in a bribery scheme while serving as vice president. There was some progress, if minor, made today, but not enough for the GOP. Correspondent David Spunt has the latest from the Justice Department tonight. Hi, David.
Hi, Jillian. Good evening. The high-stakes phone call took place at 1:30 Eastern Time about 5 hours ago. FBI Director Christopher Wray told House Oversight Chairman James Comer he can see the document he's requesting, but there is a catch. He has to view it in a secure location at the FBI headquarters. He's not going to get it in person on Capitol Hill. It's a standard FBI form called a 1023. It's used across the Bureau when someone comes to an agent and wants to make an allegation or give a tip. A 1023 may prove true. It may also not. This specific document allegedly contains a claim that then Vice President Biden accepted a bribe for a policy decision. Comer said in a statement this afternoon, "We have been clear that anything short of producing these documents to the House Oversight Committee is not in compliance with the subpoena."
And you know what? I think there's been so much shit on Biden. Hunter Biden, the laptop, fucking all of this. I am absolutely stunned at this point. I am stunned at this point that more hasn't been done, that the media doesn't cover it more.
A Fox News alert.
That, we haven't seen, Biden be put on the hot seat the way that we've seen Trump, the impeachment and all of that. And hopefully we will eventually, but it just kind of goes to show, all of this shit is a big puppet show. It's fucking smoke and mirrors. Redacted coming up. Bullshit, yeah, I know. Janine Burnett, school is unsafe, period, anymore, and for so many reasons, absolutely. The person who was reading in front of kids is a drag queen, not trans. Ooh. That's actually a very good point. That's actually a really good point. And that does need to be clarified, I guess. The people that were reading in front of children were actually drag queens. They were men dressed up as women. They weren't people that actually had sexual reassignment. So, just to make it clear. So, good point. Don't want anyone dressed in lingerie reading to my kids. That's my point. I don't give a fuck if it's a man dressed like a woman, if it's a person who's had gender reassignment, or if it's a woman that's a stripper. It doesn't matter to me. No adult should be doing that. And that's the point. We shouldn't be focused on the point that it's trans or drag. We should be focused on the point it's just a goddamn adult doing the shit, right? Like, that's the thing. It's a learning process to accept those who do, still stuck in their ways. We all process at our own pace and not live in this world. You know what? Well, I live in the city, so I just want to state that. I live in the city. I live in Cincinnati. I'm sure that's probably not the most progressive city you would think of, but honestly, it's a very progressive city. And there's a large LGBTQ community here, and I work with several people that are trans and things like that, and it's like, I couldn't imagine being a piece of shit to those people because of who they are. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't imagine, and it's like, it's hard for me to stomach it when I see the Christian shit and them calling them satanic and all that. It's like, where did the love go for just one another in general? Where did the love go? And people don't accept me, honestly, for the way I look, the way I dress, the way I talk, my beliefs, what I do here online. Like, people don't accept me, and I know it doesn't feel good, so I can only imagine how much more difficult it would be to have something like that, to where such a large group of people don't accept you, or they're constantly placating to you and being fake nice to you because of, it's just, I don't know. I just couldn't imagine. I feel like it's very difficult, and I feel like we've seen these plights throughout the history, and it's called progress, man. People can say, oh, we're not progressing with transgender and all that. You know what? It's not your fucking business what someone else does. We're progressing when we're allowing people to be people. We're progressing when we're loving each other unconditionally. We're progressing when everyone can be themselves and be comfortable, with who they are and in their own skin. And we're progressing when everyone has equal rights, equal treatment, and that's why I believe in gay marriage. I know it's not biblical, but I don't give a fuck. I believe in the Constitution, and they're United States citizens as well, and if they want to get married, they deserve the same fucking, rights that other married couples get. And it's like that. A lot of people don't like that, but I don't give a shit, I don't give a shit. It's not my business what somebody does if they decide to have an abortion, if they decide to give a kid up for adoption. None of that is my business. I feel like we should give people the right to choose, when it comes to a lot of this stuff. That's not what you were saying? Well, it doesn't matter. This is what I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. So, maybe you don't agree, but that's how I feel about things. Just love one another. Yeah, I agree with that totally. And I wish we could get to a place where we actually did that. A new round of anti-vax misinformation could ruin an otherwise calmer RSV season. And here we go. And this is one of the most demonized groups in the world, but nobody gives a fat fuck about the anti-vaxxers, now do they? With vaccines on the horizon, RSV could finally be preventable, but anti-vax misinfo could get in the way. COVID-19 hasn't been the only threat to parents and their children since 2020. Concerns about the flu and the respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, have also escalated during recent winters, leading to what was termed as a tripledemic. I've never heard that last year. However, with upcoming advancements in RSV vaccines, the approaching winter may finally have a sense of calm. That is, if anti-vax misinformation doesn't get in the way. The FDA estimates that each year about 60,000 adults over the age of 65 are hospitalized with RSV. 6,000 to 10,000 die from the virus. Infants also face an increased risk, according to the CDC. Each year, nearly 80,000 kids under 5 are hospitalized with RSV, and estimated 300 die. Last month, the FDA's approved Pfizer vaccine against RSV for adults age 60 and older, marking the second shot approved that month. The GSK vaccine was previously approved by the FDA. This month, the FDA will reconvene to discuss an upcoming pediatric vaccine that would pass immunity to fetuses by vaccinating pregnant women. I'm going to leave it there. Whatever you think, I don't want to influence you. I just want to show you a pediatric vaccine by vaccinating pregnant women. It sounds incredibly safe and legit. You know. Oh, hell no. So I mean, we went from bad to worse. We went from bad to worse. And we're going to get to this in just a second, okay? We're going to get to this in just a second, too. The plane crash in D.C. and all that. This is pretty weird. Excuse me. Russia warns supplying Ukraine with U.S.-built F-16 fighter jets would escalate conflict. We have also video of China and the U.S. banging in the fucking sea. Russia officials warn that supplying Ukraine with U.S.-made F-16 fighter jets would escalate the war as it stretches into its 15th month. So we're getting warnings. Don't get on the F-16s. Guys, you do that and it's going down, right? Where's this other one at here? Let me see if I can. And then we're going to get to the UFO shit, ChatGPT. Let's see if I can find it. Right here. U.S. releases video of close encounter with China in the South China Sea. And I want you to see that, and this is in the Taiwan Strait. I want you to see they are amping up the World War III shit. Once again, it's like, I wonder how many people are just tired of hearing about it and don't believe it'll ever happen regardless. Let's see.
After another close call, this time in the Taiwan Strait.
They want us to stop flying and sailing and operating in support of international law? Not going to happen.
The Defense Department releasing this video showing a Chinese warship nearly colliding with an American destroyer, coming within 150 yards of it, forcing the ship to slow down to avoid a crash. The encounter happened Saturday during a joint military drill with the Canadian frigate. But it was in Singapore where the incident boiled over, with U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and China's Minister of Defense Li Shangfu at the same security conference and traded barbs over provocation. Secretary Austin accused the People's Liberation Army, or PLA, of being unsafe.
Accidents can happen that could cause things to spiral out of control.
Lee telling the U.S. the best way to avoid problems here is to, quote, mind your own business.
As the PLA modernizes and as it expands, it's able to conduct more intercepts so they become more normal.
Tell the United States to mind your own fucking business. How about that? I feel like a lot of people have been saying that for a long time to the United States, but whatever. And then finally, Virginia plane crash. U.S. fighter jets saw pilots slumped over during midair interception before deadly crash. Air traffic control audio captured military pilots trying to communicate with the Cessna pilot. Let's see if we can get this to play here.
4 people are dead after a private plane comes crashing down in Virginia after crossing through restricted airspace over Washington and triggering an emergency response from the Pentagon. You're watching Fox and Friends First on this Monday morning. I'm Carly Shimkus.
And I'm Todd Pyro. 2 F-16 fighter jets were cleared to investigate that plane at supersonic speed, resulting in a deafening boom heard for miles in every direction.
These are F-16s, by the way. Look at the dog freaking the fuck out.
Alexandria Hoff has more from Washington. Alexandria.
And it's like we have all of this happening, you know, with China and Russia and all this, and then we have planes crashing over D.C. and then fighter jets being dispatched. It's like, how close really are we to conflict? Does anybody give a fuck? I guess is the real question, right? I know a lot of you guys are tired of hearing about it, but we have North Korea with their ICBMs. Iran, you know, smells like more bullshit, says Cosmic Blue. Yeah, I agree. Melopedia in the house. 3 has been happening. Hello. Yeah, I agree. It really has. It's just not what we thought it would be. You know. Never heard of Jesus hating anyone. Only taught love. I would agree with that, Future Fields. Maybe subtext means EMP soon. Yeah, well, speaking of the EMP shit, Bailey. Let's see if I can pull this up here, right here. Potential for catastrophic U.S. electric grid failures this summer are reality. And, you know, they're pushing this as well. And we've got massive solar storms coming in, all of it. It says reliability assessment of the nation's electrical grid shows increasing potential for blackouts during heat waves. Coal-fired power plants, the report states, are being retired before enough new generation sources are being put on the grid. And I feel like this is intentional. This is that scorched earth shit I was talking about. If you retire all the coal and, you know, all of that, you know, you don't have something sustainable to, you know, to sustain our grid anymore. And as they push the electrification agenda, build back better, the green shit, all that, like, we're going to see more and more of this, you know. It says a report finding that the nation's electrical supply faces potentially catastrophic failures this summer has the attention of federal lawmakers. Members of the U.S. Senate Energy and National Resources Committee heard testimony last week from the experts of what Senator John Barrasso called a potentially disastrous problem facing the nation. Quote, when the electric grid fails, it puts our other essential services at risk or makes them unavailable. The consequences are catastrophic. He said, there's no disputing the fact that electricity needs to be produced at the instant people call for it. And the report by the North American Reliability Corporation found that the generation resources on the grid can keep up with the normal demand this summer. The problem starts if there is a period of increased heat, which is common in the summer. And this is the report here. The hot summer can bring blackouts as Western power grid deteriorates. You know, it's like we've been seeing this. Shit, since what, 2012, 2015, the Department of Defense and all of that have had reports saying that we were, you know, in trouble, you know, EMP threats and all of this shit. We've also seen Trump come out with the hardening of the power grid in 2019, you know, so it's like this is nothing new. You know, how many Texas blackouts have we seen? You know, and I feel like we've seen North Korea launching the missiles and blowing them up in you know, low orbit, and we have the satellites that fly over us. I mean, this is shit I've been talking about for years. You know, which, Bailey, you should reach out, man. I would like to get you on the channel just to talk about some of this stuff. You've always had some really good insights. It says solar storm danger. NOAA satellites capture CME clouds rushing towards the Earth. NOAA forecasters have predicted solar storm alert on June 7th and June 8th after its satellites detected large CME cloud moving toward the Earth. And this is going to probably be what they blame a lot of this shit on, is CMEs and all of this. And this kind of goes into the meteorites, the asteroids, which we have a large asteroid approaching the Earth now. You know, the space weather will probably be what they blame a lot of this on. But truth be told, it's probably going to be man-made. It's going to be, you know, whether it's our own doing or another country's doing or whatever. It says after a brief period of calm, the sun has sprung back into action on June 4th. An explosion on the surface of the sun hurled a large cloud of CME into space. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration detected the incident using satellites. The alert on the June 7th and 8th. Notably, this is going to be the first solar storm of June and the first one in almost 2 weeks. NOAA forecasters say a CME might hit Earth's magnetic field late on the 7th or 8th, and it was hurled into space on the 4th. and is expected to be between a G1 and G2 class intensity. And there's a lot of sunspots right now. They expect more storms coming. This is going to be, you know, something fairly common, you know, we're going to see from this point forward, right? And it's just really just kind of covering up, you know, what we're seeing going on in space. Mammoth 210-foot asteroid hurtling towards the Earth. Huge aircraft-sized asteroid set to make its closest approach towards the Earth tomorrow, which is today, right? And we're having this kind of, you know, on a regular basis, right? To track asteroids, NASA has a new impact monitoring system in place with the algorithm called Sentry-2 to calculate the impact risk of NEOs. As of now, 28,000 near-Earth asteroids have been discovered using technology. And asteroid 2023 KW2, this is its colossal size, estimated to be roughly 210 feet wide, right? And this is like more of what you see. This is ripping 36,000 kilometers per hour and already heading towards the Earth. And it says they've been safely passing Earth for the past few months. It doesn't mean a collision with the planet isn't on the cards. In fact, the asteroid was the reason behind the extinction of one of the largest species on the planet nearly 65 million years ago. So, you know, they're just letting you know, right? They've hit before, they'll hit again, you know, and it's like, that's why they track the motherfuckers, right? And it's like, this is nothing new. We know about all of this. And more from Merck, right? The same people that are pissed that old people are going to get a discount. Cancer vaccines poised to unlock new treatment paradigm with Merck and Moderna data, right? Cancer vaccines, the new treatment paradigm, adding experimental mRNA-based vaccines from Moderna Inc. and Merck reduced the risk that most deadly skin cancer would spread by 65%. And I want to say this too. Even though we've seen that it was saying that cancer was reduced by 65%, skin cancer, I seen another article saying that skin cancer has increased dramatically. I feel like it's a weird coincidence that, you know, the vaccine for skin cancer comes out, you know, Merck and Moderna, and then all of a sudden they're saying, oh, skin cancer is dramatically increased now. You know, just kind of coincidental. Will ChatGPT take your job? The 17 most impacted jobs by it. And it says 80% of American workers are in occupations where AI can assist or entirely automate at least 10% of their tasks. Jobs involving repetitive tasks like writing, calculating, and data are most at risk. Jobs in the service industry are likely to remain the least affected. So here are the jobs. Number 1 is accountants. 2, admin and legal assistants. 3, climate change policy analyst. 4, reporters and journalists. Isn't that weird? Right? Reporters and journalists are impacted. So people that write and give their opinion and like give our information. It's like you see all the misinformation, disinformation shit, cancel culture. It's because they want AI to do it instead. Mathematicians, tax preparers, financial analysts, writers and authors, web designers, blockchain engineers, court reporters, proofreaders, correspondence clerks, survey researchers, interpreters and translators, PR specialists, animal scientists. Notice almost like the media. It's like everything in the media will be replaced by AI. I feel like that's fucking crazy. And the least impacted jobs by AI, so tell you the little ones, athletes, short order cooks, large equipment operators, barbers and hairstylists, glass installers and repairers, dredge operators, automotive mechanics, power line installers and repairers, masons, carpenters, roofers, on-field maintenance workers, plumbers, painters, pipe fitters, servers, dishwashers, and bartenders. So basically people that do shit with their hands. Okay, so which there's, you know, more weird shit with ChatGPT. We might A new ChatGPT attack technique spreads malicious packages. New cyber attack technique using the OpenAI language model ChatGPT has emerged, allowing attackers to spread malicious packages in developers' environments. Vulcan Cyber Voyager 18 research team described the discovery in an advisory published today. Quote, we've seen ChatGPT generate URLs, references, and even code libraries and functions that do not actually exist. These large language model hallucinations have been reported before and may be the result of old training data. How about that? And then I'm going to pull up the virus. It says, can you trust ChatGPT's package recommendations? And it's like hallucinations. ChatGPT hallucinations now. Isn't this fucking crazy? AI package hallucinations. Crazy shit, And it's like ChatGPT is so great and so wonderful, yet at the same time, it's going to be used to malware and, hallucinations and fucking deep fake and all of this. U.S. urged to reveal UFO evidence after claims it has intact alien vehicles. And let me pull up the real original article here. And this is for the UFO heads out there. I know a lot of you guys think the Pleiadians are coming to save you, or the Arcturians have sent you a channeled message, and all that other horse shit, so you never know, right? Maybe the Greys and the Zeta Reticuli are going to come, drop you off something in the mail. Maybe they will, pick you up. You guys go out for a drink or something like that, or they'll scrape a baby out of your belly, or whatever. There's like a lot of cool stuff that aliens do. This is former intelligence official turned whistleblower has given Congress and the intelligence community inspector general extensive classified information about deeply covert programs that he says possess retrieved, intact, and partially intact craft of non-human origin. The information, he says, has been illegally withheld from Congress, and he filed a complaint alleging that he suffered illegal retaliation for his confidential disclosures and reported here for the first time. Other intelligence officials, both active and retired, with knowledge of these programs through their work in various agencies, have independently provided similar corroborated information both on and off the record. The whistleblower, David Charles Grush, 36, a decorated former combat officer in Afghanistan, is a veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and the National Reconnaissance Office. He served as a Reconnaissance Office's representative to the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force from 2019 to 2021. From late 2021 to July 2022, he was NGA's co-lead for the UAP analysis and its representative to the task force. The task force was established to investigate what were once called unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, and are now officially called unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP. The task force was led by the Department of the Navy under the Office of the Under-Secretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security. It has since been reorganized and expanded into the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office to include investigations of objects operating underwater. Grush said the recoveries of partial fragments through and up to intact vehicles have been made for decades through the present day by the government, its allies, and defense contractors. Analysis has determined that the objects retrieved are, quote, of exotic origin, non-human intelligence, whether extraterrestrial or unknown origin, based on the vehicle morphologies and material science testing and the possession of unique atomic arrangements and radiological signatures, he said. In filing his complaint, Grush is represented by a lawyer who served as the original Intelligence Community Inspector General. Quote, we are not talking about the prosaic origins or identities, Grush said, referring information he provided Congress and the current ICIG. The material includes intact and partially intact vehicles. In accordance with his protocols, Grush provided the Defense Office of pre-publication and security review of the Department of Defense with information he intended to disclose to us. His on-the-record statements were all cleared for open publication on April the 4th and 6th, 2023 in documents provided to us. Excuse me. I have the yawns. Grush's disclosure of those non-public witnesses under new protective provisions of the latest defense appropriations bill signal a growing determination by some of the government to unravel a colossal enigma with national security implications that has bewildered the military and tantalized the public going back to World War II and beyond. For many decades, the Air Force carried out a disinformation campaign to discredit reported sightings and unexplained objects. Now, with 2 public hearings and many classified briefings under its belt, Congress is pressing for answers. How about that? And I would love to know what you guys really think about all of that. Yeah, well, and thank you for the super chat, Cosmic Blue. Thank you. I appreciate everybody that supports me so much, guys. I just want to say that to everybody that's watching. You know, it really does help me a lot. I know I don't do this full time like I used to, but every super chat, every Facebook, YouTube subscription, every patron, every PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Facebook donation, they help me tremendously. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to everybody that donates and supports me, because I greatly, greatly appreciate it. So just thank you. Always adore you, John. Well, thank you. I really appreciate it, honestly. It's been, it has been, yeah, tonight we've had Tim Hamby, Crystal Dawn, Cosmic Blue for the fan funding. Thank you. That's so cool, man. Seriously. So cool. I really do appreciate it. And I don't know if any of you guys have hit the PayPal or Venmo or whatever. If you have, Cash App, thank you. Okay? Anybody that wants to book a reading, you can email me, therealbestdampodcast@gmail.com, or text 513-393-2396. We can set up a tarot reading. I've been doing a lot more readings here lately, too. I've gotten really good. So if you're into that, you know, you're into that. You still owe me $100. Hey, you don't owe me anything. You know, nobody owes me anything. If you want to give me something, that's fine. You want to donate, that's fine. But nobody owes me anything. I appreciate every last one of you. Seriously. I can't tell you how much. Especially just, you know, over the years, all that people have done. People have stuck by me through a lot, man. I've been through so much, you know. And it's like, it feels good to actually finally be out of the muck, out of the murk, you know, and doing what I love again, and sharing information, sharing truth. And it's like, you know, I know that they've changed the way that YouTube and all that works, and it's just kind of not the same as it used to be, but it's like, it's still cool to have people that are like-minded and kind of think the same and see things the same, and people that question. Not everybody, you know, just accepts what they're told blindly. I'm going to drop this briefing here on the UFO shit for you UFO heads out there. Yeah, donate, share, and like. Thank you. You'll stick with your strawberry banana vodka smoothies? Well, whatever you want to stick with. Whatever, right? Whatever you're into, I'm not hating, okay? And I wonder how long we've been going here. I got a few more things I'm gonna bring. So, all right. I'll see if there's some people in the house here. So we'll keep it rocking. Thank you so much. Here we go. All right. Let's hop over to the next one. Let me see if I can close a few of these down. You need more proof? Scratching out the contact info for human trafficking in a rest stop bathroom. That's dark. That is fucking crazy. Oh my god. Human trafficking is a crime. And this is like a fucking thing in a rest stop bathroom? It's pretty bad. Human trafficking is legit. And I feel like, and I don't want to get into a lot of shit, guys, but let's say this. Over the years, I have had some very, very fucking wild experiences. I just want to say that. I have met prostitutes and sex workers. I have met people involved in human trafficking. I've met people involved with intelligence. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me why. But at one point, you know, my life was like a fucking giant circus from doing this. And that's a lot of the reason why I stepped back. I just got tired of living like that. I got tired of having to look over my shoulder and not be able to trust. I couldn't even trust a girlfriend. You know what I mean? If I had a girlfriend, they were usually sent to me from somebody else. It was fucking wild. You know, and I got tired of living like that. So obviously I pulled back, and once it kind of nosedived my business and all of that from all the censorship, that was like the perfect time for me to pull back, recuperate myself, and kind of start my life over. And I've only come back to it because I just love it so much. But this is real, you know. This is real, and it goes on everywhere. You know, if you don't think so, then that's on you. You know, if you don't think it's possible, they traffic more than women. They traffic more than children. Okay? Bye-bye birdie. EU bids farewell to Twitter as a company pulls out of code to fight disinformation. How about that? Let me see if I have it right here. I think I do. Yeah. Right here. Let's see if we can pull this up. I have to kill this sound because there's an ad. Despite Twitter's withdrawal, the EU's anti-disinformation code remains strong, said Vera Jourova. This is fucking crazy.
Took over the social media platform Twitter last year, he has repeatedly vowed to make it the most accurate source of information online. But according to the European Commissioner Thierry Breton, well, Twitter has pulled out of the EU's code to fight disinformation as well as fake news online. Breton tweeted that obligations still remain. You can run, but you can't hide. Dozens of other tech giants, such as, for example, TikTok, Microsoft, or even Google, had signed up for this non-binding code a few years ago. And although this code is voluntary, fighting disinformation will become a legal obligation in the EU as of August 25th, when social media platforms will have to comply with the Digital Services Act, or the DSA. The DSA is a set of rules that will protect internet users, and it will force large platforms to fight disinformation and be more careful with how they moderate content.
How about that? So they're trying to make it look like Twitter is censoring shit by pulling out of this code. And this code goes in with the DSA and all this, and this is going to become mandatory across all social media platforms, and it's something to actually help them with moderation. And if you guys know anything about this, a couple of years ago, actually back when Bailey was my co-host and shit, like the Google moderators and all of that, like, they would moderate my own moderators' comments. It was wild. You know, and that was just the beginning of all of this. And they used to put the wiki labels on my videos, and my live streams used to get kicked off midstream if I would say something wrong. I mean, just wild shit. And we've seen this a bunch. Like I said, I just had a Discord server shut down a week ago. Now they're going to make it to where it's mandatory for all these media platforms to follow with these EU codes. And it started with, I think, Article 13, you know, a few years ago. That's when all this kind of really began, was with Article 13. If you guys remember that. I remember doing videos and all of this. It's like, wow. You know, we have come to a fucked up place when it comes to information, and that's why ChatGPT will be stealing jobs with fucking content creators. You know what I mean? If you think about it, honestly, it's because they want to make sure that whatever comes out is pushed from their perspective. Backlash in the ranks. The U.S. Navy quietly removes LGBTQ Pride Month post on social media. Look at that. Look. How about that? Look, they removed it. Oh, shit. That's so funny. It's so funny. I think that's crazy, man. That's so crazy. I don't know. Trust me, bro. Intelligence officials say they've retrieved craft of non-human origin. I think the poles are shifting. And this is Crop Circle and Winterbourne Basset. Okay. And while the IMF is currently gearing up to introduce its new global CBDC, the central bank digital currency system called the UMU, also known as the Unicoin. Remember, universal, one world government, one world financial system, one world religion, right? The universal church, right? I told you this is a Luciferian system. You think I'm bullshitting? I know my shit, homie. I've been doing this for a long time. The Bank for International Settlements has been, and I should do, and I will do. Maybe the next time I do a video, I'm not going to focus on this shit so much. I'm going to get into more of the occult side and, talk about that, the darker aspects. I really enjoy doing those videos, but not everybody likes them, for whatever reason. It says the Bank for International, and I'm going to try to do more of the space videos and stuff and switch it up a little bit more. The Bank for International Settlements has been busy with multiple projects designed to centralize all international banks and central banks into a single umbrella network that allows for quick cross-border transactions using digital currencies. In other words, a cashless society. The latest idea for the BIS is Project Aurora, which may be even more disturbing than Icebreaker and its implications. Aurora is designed to use machine learning, AI, as a tool to monitor vast flows of financial transactions from all over the world in order to identify specifically flagged patterns. And if that don't sound fucking fishy, don't know what does.
Money laundering is a global problem and has far-reaching effects throughout society. It fuels corruption, organised crime and terrorism, as well as environmental crime and modern slavery. It's estimated that 2% to 5% of the world's $100 trillion GDP consists of laundered money, or between $2 and $5 trillion. Yet only 1% of these illegal proceeds, $20 to $50 billion, are ever seized by the authorities. Detecting money laundering patterns is a complex task. Spotting these patterns requires the ability to connect data across firms and borders to identify suspicious networks and dubious flows of funds. However, the problem is that financial institutions, which bear most of the responsibility for detecting suspicious activities, rely on siloed data and systems and are often forbidden from sharing information with other financial institutions. This makes it hard for them to detect these complex money laundering networks and flows. Criminals use sophisticated cross-border layering techniques to hide the origin of the funds. For example, by using money mule networks. Money mules are people who intentionally or unintentionally help criminals launder money by receiving and transferring illegal profits on behalf of someone else. Individually, these transfers may appear legitimate, but when viewed as a whole, patterns emerge to reveal money laundering activities. Let's see how a typical money mule transaction works. A group of criminals make use of multiple mule accounts in country A to receive illegal funds. The funds are transferred to mule accounts in several financial institutions in country B.
Basically, okay, what they're actually trying to do is to track every one of your fucking financial transactions to make sure that we have no cash. That way, you can't give me, and it's not just for drugs. I mean, that's what they're going to say. They're going to be like, oh, this stops us from doing drugs and da-da-da-da, right? Like, black market shit and all of that, right? That's what they're going to do. But I promise you, that's not what it's actually for. It's to make sure that they tax every fucking dollar. You can't loan me $5, or you can't donate $5 without them getting their fucking cut and without them knowing every penny that you make. That way it's all taxable, all trackable, right? You make them flag things and shut your money down, and this will attach to a social credit scoring system, I promise you. You see, communist China? Well, you ain't seen shit yet, right? We're on our way, guys. I think it's so funny. I anytime my phone kicks on, I see messages from people. How many tattoos do you have? I don't know. Like a fucking 1,000? You know? I don't know. Who the fuck count? So many I can't count. A robot taking your job is supposed to be a joyous occasion. It's just our current economic system that makes it a bad thing. AI eliminated nearly 4,000 jobs in May. Isn't that fucking wild? It really is, man. Park officials in Dakota County keeping everyone out of the water at Shoals Lake and Lebanon Hills Regional Park. Multiple swimmers fighting the effects of mystery illness after going for a swim. And I've heard of this shit too, like weird germs crawling up your dick hole, you know? But I've also heard of people like dying from drinking water. So I mean, there's no telling where we're getting mysterious illnesses in water from with all the chemtrails and shit. And I've got some cool chemtrail videos. We're gonna get to the videos in just a second. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I promise you. I've got so much shit I want to show tonight. This is gonna be a little long one, but bear with me. Make sure you hit the like. If you're in the chat and you haven't hit the thumbs up, what the fuck, man? What's wrong with you? You know, you're watching and you can't even hit thumbs up. This is the frequent against non-Muslims in the country, even without proof of said blasphemy. Christian youth in Pakistan gets a death sentence for sharing blasphemous content. Let's see this one. Christian in Pakistan sentenced to death under blasphemy law. This is fucking wild. This is Morning Star News. Get it? Morning Star, Lucifer. A court in Balapur, Pakistan, Tuesday handed the death penalty to a 22-year-old Christian and 22 in numerology, right? That's the builder, right? 11, 22, 33. These are master numbers. Like I said, I haven't done the occult shit in a long time, but I'm going to come back to it, guys. I promise you. I know more than I've ever known before. I'm telling you, I'm like a wizard now. I just don't get to share it anymore because I don't get to do as many videos. Lazar Allah Raqqa, the attorney for Noor Masih, said that the Sessions Court announced its verdict in New Central Jail in Balapur in Punjab province through the prosecution failed to provide the evidence of the blasphemy charge against him. Quote, I'm extremely disappointed by the conviction because there was absolutely no case. There was no proofs against Noman, and none of the witnesses produced by police could corroborate the blasphemy allegation against him. That is fucked. Despite so many contradictions in the case, I'm at a loss to understand why Balapur Additional Sessions Judge Muhammad Hafiz Ur Rahman sentenced Noman instead of acquitting him. This is murder of justice. God damn. The family is in dire need of prayer and financial support. I'm not going to go through all of this. Not because I don't give a fuck, but because I don't give a fuck. So I will drop this link. I mean, if you want to read about this guy, I don't even know if this is real. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of this shit is propaganda. Love the esoteric shoes. I love the esoteric shit too, man. She says shoes. You meant shows. I know she meant shows, alright? I've seen enough typos in my life to know she meant shows. I think it's propaganda. Yeah, baby, I agree. I think it's propaganda too. Absolutely. And so, alright. Standard moderator. Can block words in chat. You know, and I want to say this too. I'm adding some moderators, by the way. Anybody wants to be a moderator. I can now change moderators too. So I can make people like moderators that can actually block words, block people. So I need like a mod. If anybody wants to be my mod, like my go-to mod, you gotta be here for all the videos, you know. Yeah, shows. I said it. See, I knew it was not shoes. It was shows. Then let me know. Email me. I definitely need somebody to kind of help me with the videos. I'm trying to do a lot more of this stuff, you know, but like I said, I work full fucking time. I even work overtime. You know, I'm slaving away these days, you know, so, but I'd like to try to do more content. I just need a little help. I like to get some cool guests too. You know, I've done a lot of recent collabs and everything with people, so it's been fun. Yeah, it's so funny. It looked like you said shoes, but whatever. Here we go. Let's move on. Let's do a mass experiment. A new kind of mass experiment of what happens when you tell people the truth. Say what? Aerial footage shows most of the dam's hydroelectric infrastructures are washed away. Who gives a fuck? And it's like anything in Ukraine, I'm sorry, I think it's all horse shit. Let's get to the videos. Let's go to the videos. Fuck this shit. Okay. See what I mean? Look, Ukrainian mud baths for the soldiers training. This is what I mean. This is straight propaganda. Look at those Ukrainian soldiers. There's bars in Cincinnati that have like Ukraine flags and shit in them, like hashtag Ukraine. Like what the fuck? They don't give a fuck about Ukraine, I promise you. It's just like that social justice shit. It's trendy, you know? Look at those mud baths. I bet they have great skin. Look at this motherfucker kicking water in his face and shit. He's like, come on, soldier. Your face isn't fucking got enough collagen in it. We need to kick some mud on it. Yeah. Dragon surrounding the sun. This is an interesting picture. Right? We need Alex Lujan for this one. And so many... what happened to all the Planet X guys? I do want to know that. Does anybody know what happened to all the Planet X channels? I mean, how many years? Like, I've done Planet X videos for a long time, but I started questioning all of it. It's like, you know, where we were seeing, like, reflections in the sky and, you know, where we have the Project Bluebeam and all this. And I'm not saying it's not real, it's not legit, but maybe it's just not what we thought it was. You know, maybe, like, Nemesis, the dark sun, is like actually representative of a time or a shift or a change in consciousness. We'll get into that in another video. I promise I'm going to do a big Planet X video. I'm going to do some big cosmic energy videos, occult videos. I've just got a lot of stuff I want to share and a lot of stuff I want to hit on. And I'm going to try to condense it down into some shit to make it really cohesive. That way it's understandable and it's more modern with all of like the newer information that I have. Okay, I think I have this actually pulled up. The mysterious species of what? Buried their dead and carved symbols 100,000 years before humans? Yeah, it's right here. Mysterious species buried their dead and carved symbols 100,000 years before humans. Weird, right? Researchers uncovered evidence that members of a mysterious archaic human species buried their dead and carved symbols on cave walls long before the earliest evidence of burials by modern humans. And when I seen this, I thought, yeah, it's the ones who buried their dead and carved symbols were fucking humans. You know what I mean? It's like, ooh, this mysterious species that were archaic humans. Yeah, they were fucking humans. It just doesn't fit in your narrative of history. And look, here's the bones. What does that look like to you? That looks like a goddamn human being. That's a human. They buried their dead, they carved symbols. Guess what? We still do that shit, right? Like, it was just so long ago, it doesn't fucking fit with their narrative. It doesn't fit with the shit that they try to feed us. So, of course, we're told that it's, you know, some archaic species that's really not us, right? It's like, no, that's definitely us. So, whatever, right? Definitely us, but, you know, you believe what you want to believe. You know, mainstream science is going to continue to lie to you, just like they did with general, you know, relativity and fucking gravity and all of this. It's like, none of these things have ever been proven, but who gives a fat shit, right? We're going to continue to buy into their nonsense until the day we die. You know, because we have nothing better to do, obviously. Right? Nothing better to do than to listen to the scientific community tell us fucking lies. And make sure you guys, I did get my old Facebook back, facebook.com/John King Best Damn Podcast. Check that out. Check out my new Facebook as well. You'll find the links on my old Facebook. Follow me Instagram, Best Damn Podcast, Twitter, The Real Best Damn. Check out the backup channel on YouTube, youtube.com/Best Damn Podcast, the main Best Damn Podcast official. Check me out on Rumble. Check me out on BitChute, Patreon. get a YouTube subscription, Facebook fan subscription, donate PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Facebook Messenger Pay, book your own personal tarot reading. All the links and information will be in the description box down below. I'm not done yet, but I want to catch you while I can catch you, and, you know, just give you that information because I never say it anymore. I don't promote anymore. I feel like a piece of shit. U.S. same-sex marriage support holds at 71% high, and this is what I was talking about very beginning of the show, right? The latest figure matches the high recorded in 2022. Support is lowest among Republicans, 49%, and weekly churchgoers, 41%. That should tell you something, though, right there. 41% of weekly churchgoers still support it. You feel me, homie? 41%. You know? It's like, come on, man. Lighten the fuck up. 49% of Republicans. You know, that's half of them. Young adults and Democrats among the groups most supportive of gay marriage. Of course, right? Young people are not hell-bent on older values and shit like that. And liberals are liberals, right? So, 71% of Americans think same-sex marriage should be legal. Matching the high Gallup recorded in 2022, public support for legally recognizing gay marriages has been consistently above 50% since the early 2010s. And I hate to tell you, I'm probably going to lose some subs for this one, but I support gay marriage. You know, I'm sorry if that chaps your ass, but it's like, I believe in equality for everyone. You know, and it's like, it doesn't harm me if a man and a man or a woman and a woman love one another. I believe they should be allowed to. I don't believe it should be pushed on anyone. I don't believe it should be pushed on children. I don't believe anything should be pushed on children or anyone. You know, let people be who they are and love them for it regardless. But I believe, like, whatever they do choose, they deserve to get married and have the same tax benefits and, you know, shared ownership of their home and all that, just like, you know, me and my future wife would have. You know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't be punishing people for being different, is my point. You know, because of our religious beliefs. And I don't even share those religious beliefs. I'm not a Christian. You know, at one point in time, when I first started this channel, I still wasn't a Christian. I was kind of Christian fundamentalist a little bit, but, you know, after seeing what religion had done to people and done to our world, I really withdrew from all of that, you know, and I have and I got into Gnosticism and all that, and I've just evolved into something totally different now, you know. And people can say I'm a Luciferian or whatever. I don't even give a fuck what you think about me at this point. I don't care if you think I'm evil, if you think I'm the devil, I don't give a fuck. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, what does matter to me is, like, speaking up for what I believe is right. You know, and I believe that's right. I believe everybody should have like, that's the United States. We're a melting pot of all the races, of all the religions, of all the sexuality. That's what makes it beautiful. You can say we're Babylon, so fucking what? Right? The world is ran by this Babylonian system, motherfucker. And it's like, if you ain't figured that out yet, you ain't figured shit out. You know? I'm not telling you to go along with it. I'm not telling you to buy into what I believe or any of that. I'm just telling you this is the way it is. You know? And what's lawful and legal is lawful and legal for everybody despite their sexuality. The latest figures from Gallup's Annual Values and Beliefs poll conducted May 1st to the 24th, when Gallup first polled about same-sex marriage in 1996, barely a quarter of the public, 27%, supported legalizing such unions. It would take another 15 years until 2011 for support to reach the majority level. Excuse me. Then, in 2015, just 1 month before the U.S. Supreme Court's Obergefell versus Hodges decision, public support for legalizing gay marriage cracked the 60% level. In 2021, it reached the 70% mark for the first time, and there has been there for each of the past 3 years. So, you know, it ain't going down. I hate to tell you, it's not about to change, you know. And people can say, "Oh, fuck it," you know, it's because of this agenda and that agenda. Whatever. You know, it's like it doesn't matter. We're not gonna go there today. I'm not in the mood. Massive explosion! Boom! Rocks DC after fighter jets intercept unresponsive aircraft. We talked about that already. Fire destroys first Congressional United Church in Spencer, Massachusetts. Officials suspect lightning strike may have sparked the blaze. We'll see. And you know what? I don't believe churches should be set on fire either. Burn, baby, burn. Right? What's wrong with just the same if they burn down churches and all that shit? You know, it's just as low. They said lightning hit it, so, you know, it is what it is. Canadian federal government in the process of demonizing vitamins and minerals. Ottawa's plan to track ill effects of natural health products caught the industry off guard. And we're going to see more of this. And this is what I'm saying about the big pharma and all this shit. It's fucking disgusting. You know, the pharmaceutical companies and how nobody boycotts them. We're not allowed to say anything negative about them. Well, fuck the pharmaceutical companies and fuck all the shit that they're doing to try to stop holistic medicine, natural healing. You know, it's like, there's been so many holistic doctors and natural healers killed over the last decade. It's not even funny. You know? And now we have plans to literally fucking track the ill effects of natural health products. It's fucking insane.
Natural but safe. They feel that if it comes from nature, it couldn't possibly be harmful, and that's absolutely not the case.
The federal budget proposes amending the Food and Drug Act to enable regulators to take stronger action when health or safety issues are identified with natural products. Natural health products include vitamins and minerals, herbal remedies, and traditional medicines.
They're used widely by people, and we really need to see some protection put in place so that consumers can make better decisions. Ideally, we would have that system in place already, but the legislation was not created at the time to include natural health products.
Yeah, so it's like they're coming after the natural health products. It's insane. That's what it is. Now, here we go. Pride is a sin, but only if you are white. Now, check this out before you get your panties in a bunch, motherfucker. Read what it says, okay? We're going to pull this up. Black Pride. This is Wikipedia. Black Pride is a movement encouraging people to take pride in being black. Movements include Black nationalism, Black Panthers, Afrocentrism, and Black supremacism. The slogan has been used in the United States by African Americans to celebrate heritage and personal pride. Gay Pride. Gay Pride, or LGBT, which is now Q+, Pride is a positive stance against discrimination and violence toward lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people to promote their self-affirmation, dignity, equality rights, increase their visibility as a social group, build community, and celebrate sexual diversity and gender variance. Asian Pride. In the United States, Asian Pride, also spelled Asian Pride, is a positive stance to be an Asian American. White Pride. White Pride is a slogan primarily used by white separatist, white nationalist, neo-Nazi, and white supremacist organizations to signal their racist viewpoints. Wow. Identified as white power. White power. Reminds me of the Dave Chappelle skit. Do you see how fucked up this is? You know? And this is the thing I hate about liberalism and social justice warriors and all that. Like, I hate it. I think it's fucking retarded. And I said retarded. The fact that you can't be proud of being white. The fact that that's negative and every other form of pride is positive. The fact that you're privileged just by being white, and it's not true. You know, I live in the fucking inner city just like every other race. I struggle just like every other race. I went to jail just like every other race. I've had drug problems just like every other race. I've had so many fucking things, you know, in my life. And we're in it together. Has there been more black people killed by cops? Yeah, definitely. Has there been, you know, discrimination against certain races in certain ways more? Definitely. But does that make it okay to start discriminating against white people to try to make up for the imbalance that's happened in the past? No. You know, no, it doesn't. And I don't want my children to grow up being ashamed to be white and being ashamed of being who they are. Being ashamed of being a straight white male. Why would you want that? I don't think we should be demonizing nobody. If it wasn't okay to demonize black people, Asian people, gay people, trans, why are we demonizing anyone? Why does it make it okay to demonize white people? You know what I mean? You can't be anti-Semitic. And we know who actually runs Hollywood and actually was the ones who were controlling the slave industry and all of that historically. Factually. But we can't say it. Do you see what I mean? It's like we've lost touch with fucking reality. We've lost touch with our humanity. With ourselves, with one another. And it's just divide and conquers to keep us at each other's throat, to keep us class warfare, race warfare, sex warfare, sexual orientations, like whatever, political, you know, religion. And we continue to bark and bite and believe the shit. And use that as reasons to kill each other, silence each other, hate each other. Slide each other every fucking chance we get. My group's better than yours, and my belief is better than yours. It's like, are you that big of a fucking dumbass? You know? I don't care what color you are. Are you that big of a fucking dumbass to where you actually believe that? All lives matter. I don't care if it pisses you off. I hope it does. Because they do. All races matter. All people matter. All sexes matter. All sexual orientations matter. And if that pisses you off, you're a piece of shit. And you have some problems within yourself. You know, you have hate for people. You're a racist. You're a sexist. If that pisses you off. If something bothers you to say straight people shouldn't have love, then you're a fucking weirdo. You have issues. Gay people shouldn't have love, you're a fucking weirdo and you have issues. White people shouldn't have love, you're a fucking weirdo and you have issues. And a racist. Black people shouldn't have love, you're a fucking weirdo and a racist. It's like, come on, man. And I've experienced racism, whether people believe it or not. I mean, I sit on the bus and nobody will even sit next to my ass. You know what I mean? Like, we all experience it in some way, shape, form, or facet. We all experience discrimination based on how different we look or our upbringings. Like, yeah, there are different levels to the shit. Yeah, there are different experiences, and there are different cultures and in different areas. And it's like we can't just drop a blanket across it all and say, oh, well, this is the one experience that we all have, because it's just not that way. It's time to like be understanding and be loving of one another and accepting of everyone, you know, for who they are, and really work towards equality and truly believe that all people matter. And that's the type of society we should be trying to build in the future. We should be trying to shape. You know, that's just my opinion. Genetic war on specific bloodlines. But they harvest your DNA. We don't live in an equal society, but it doesn't matter. White flower. We don't live in an equal society. But the principle is built on equality. And it's our own goddamn fault that it's not equal. By creating specialized groups, do you think that's going to make it equal? Fuck no. You just want to tip the balance into your favor if you're one of the special groups, is usually why you want to do that. You know, the same reason that the majorities want to keep the power in their favor. You know what I'm saying? Give me a fucking break. You know. So. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Let's pull up some of these crazy videos for you out here. Let me see if I can get some sound here.
Investigators describe as disgusting and disturbing. Now, we want to warn you, the details of this case are graphic in nature. A judge set 19-year-old Denise Frazier's bond at $25,000. Deputies arrested her in the Myrick community Wednesday. The Sheriff's Department received a tip about graphic videos of unnatural intercourse on social media. The department says it's in the initial investigation phase, but has found no evidence that Frazier was threatened or coerced to participate in these acts on video. 3 separate dogs were seen on video, and all animals are now in a safe place getting medical help. The lead investigator says he's never worked a case like this before.
We've never dealt with this particular type of case before, so there's really no true words to describe it.
She fucked 3 different dogs on Instagram. He's like, we've never dealt with a case like that. Look at his face. He's like, she fucked 3 dogs. Yeah. This is the weirdness that we have ascended to in our society. Yeah, we're becoming really woke, right? We're fucking dogs now. AI-powered drone tried to attack its human operator in a U.S. military simulation. The shit just gets better and better.
Aquino and his wife. You are a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army.
Correct. Synagogue of Satan.
And how does the Army feel about you being head of the Temple of Set?
The Army has known about my religion for the entire span of my Army career, which began in 1968. And there was a reasonable amount of curiosity, as there has been all the way along.
You guys remember him?
What exactly is this strange and unusual thing? And I've talked about it in much the same way that I've talked here today on your show about it. And other than that, the Army has paid very little attention to it, the same as it would to anybody who was, say, a follower of Hinduism or of Buddhism or any other slightly unusual religion today.
So you just go about your Army duties and it's fine and okay? Yeah.
I was a follower of the Satanist Church in Chicago here. On Walpurgis Night, I was the head acolyte for that specific ceremony. And at the end of it, we wound up murdering someone. And
a person?
Yes, ma'am. It wasn't anybody that I knew, and I reported it. But once I had reported it and decided that to quit the Satanist Church, I started receiving threatening phone calls. People would come up to my door who I didn't know, and all they'd do is say, go back to the church, and then they'd walk away. They'd never give me their name or address or anything. I received threatening mail. My mail was opened. My little sister was harassed coming to and from school several times.
So what happened in the ritual where someone was murdered? And how were they murdered?
They were stabbed 7 times with knives because in
Chicago.
Yes, it was.
What year?
Old school Oprah, and that guy's in the military. I mean, he was just a couple years ago. I don't know if he's still in there. Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. Michael Aquino, and look, Katy Perry. It's like the whole fucking satanic system.
I wanted to be like the Amy Grant of music, but it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil.
You know, it's like we've been, you know, it's like we talk about this, you know, the Luciferian system and all this and all the occult undertones, and you know, people don't believe it.
Remember.
They don't buy into it. Let's see if we can pull up Michael Aquino before we pull up this last video here. Hopefully they don't kick this video off for me putting that up there. But yeah. Here we go. Yeah, right there. Boom. See? Military officer. Michael Aquino. There he is. He's still there, man. He is known for the Asylum of Satan, 1972. The Occult Experience, 95. Married to Lilith St. Clair. Temple of Set. Boom shakalaka. Right? There he is. Look, he's still got those weird fucking eyebrows too. God damn, somebody's got to do something with that guy's eyebrows. Seriously, you'd think if you were like a Satanist, you would at least have, he specialized in psychological warfare, imagine that, right? With all the symbolism and numerology and gematria and all that goes into it, you know?
These people are sick, but not criminally sick. They know what they are doing is wrong. 100% death penalty.
Houston is possibly the worst city in the United States for the misuse of lost and runaway boys.
Houston? I would say I hear about Houston that it is the worst.
Probably 350 or more boys are killed every year in Houston.
That children are brought to Houston from places such as New Orleans or from other parts of the Southwest.
Their life is sad, and they go out and they have to earn money, and they're treated bad. They sometimes get beaten, they get robbed, they get pushed. You know, the police abuse them, everybody abuses them.
There was one guy that picked me up in Atlanta.
And we've done videos on the Oregon Harpacene and the sex trafficking and human trafficking and child trafficking. It's like, god damn. You know, at the end of the day, you know, to see like this, and this ain't the whole Trump QAnon shit I'm talking about. This is like real legitimate shit. And it's like in Hollywood, and the government, the military-industrial complex, those within the mysteries. I mean, YouTubers. It fucking goes on and on and on. The people that connected this, like trying to tap into this dark fucking force for money, for wealth, for gain.
He just said that, you know, he wanted somebody to go out and have a few beers when he would smoke a joint. I was drinking his beer, and all of a sudden, you know, doing like that, you know, I couldn't even see straight. My eyes were rolling back. And then the room started spinning, and I was out of it. When I came around, he had me tied up in the basement, no less. And I couldn't even move. Yeah, stretched.
Boys for sale.
He just threatened me a lot, and I was sitting there crying and scared to death. You know, because the worst I could do was kill me, you know?
That interview was conducted several months ago in Houston, Texas. Investigators now fear that the 15-year-old is dead. The body of a young man found ritualistically dismembered in Missouri is thought to be his.
This year,
1981,
30 boys were found dead in Houston. None of them was called a homicide. They were dead of causes undetermined, instead of massive internal bleeding, as in the case of one child under 10 who was found naked in a Dempsey dumpster with his colon and his rectum torn apart. He was called not a homicide, but a victim of massive internal injury.
He was fist raped.
Yes. I've been studying this phenomenon since the spring of 1979, and to the best of my knowledge, most men who seek sex from boys are not homosexuals.
And I just want to point out, too, like, if you think that this could never happen, well, do you remember C-19? You know? And the remdesivir deaths and all the people on ventilators. If you think if they wouldn't lie about that on such a large and massive scale, that's something so goddamn dark that government officials are connected to, that fucking actors and politicians and all this are connected to, that they would, police and detectives and everybody, you know, that they wouldn't cover that up as well. Even priests are involved in this. You know, that's why the church is such a fucking sham.
Are gay people who are what we call pederasts, that is, men who lust after children, especially boys. But it appears to be the case that most such men are not gay, that their attraction is for young, defenseless children, especially boys, because they're more exotic, more forbidden.
Even former Fox News anchor Megyn Kelly did her part playing damage control for Comet Ping Pong owner James Alefantis by giving him a shoulder to cry on.
James, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
What a terrible ordeal this must have been for you.
It has been.
Rather than ask him tough questions like, why do you compulsively upload pictures of sexualized infants? Why are the bands who perform at your restaurant using the same pedosexual imagery? Why do you promote your restaurant as family-friendly while hosting events where people make jokes about pedo rape and strangling newborn 1964 and were never seen again?
Yeah, and it's like, this goes on and on. I can't really get into any more of this because, you know, the different platforms that this will air on, most of them will try to censor and silence it, but it's like just showing you how dark and deep the rabbit hole does go. I am going to bring back the uncensored videos and stuff like that. We're going to be putting a lot of this shit up on Rumble and BitChute and Patreon for the people that donate support again. But you see, court document filed indicating January 2012, UK Archbishops Canterbury Justin Welby acted under the direction of Queen Elizabeth to destroy forensic remains of the Ninth Circle satanic cult child homicide. 2 eyewitnesses testified that as children they were present during the same murder of a native child. Satanic rite evidently occurred in a sub-basement catacomb under the west wing of the Canadian Brandon, Ontario Mohawk Indian Residential School. 2 eyewitnesses alleged they saw a young girl being bound to an altar, and noticed it was Native Americans, right? The 5 or 6-year-old child was gagged, and then we're not going to read the rest of that, but, you know, this is for those of you that, let me drop this link in here, just for in the chat, for those who want to check this out. And I don't even want to end on this dark-ass note, but so these are alien hybrids, not humans. There's so many different schools of thought on why people do this. Adrenochrome, Loosh, energetic psychic vampires, blood rituals, organ harvesting, trafficking. Like, we can go on and on in the different ways that you know, people think that this takes place. Oh, come the fuck on, man. Why the fuck do you gotta... Look, Native Americans were created to fight on Mars. That's why motherfuckers don't believe shit we say. I just want to point that out. That's why motherfuckers don't believe shit we say. When you say shit like that, you make us sound crazy. Native Americans were made to fight on Mars. Give me a fucking break, man. You know, it's like, you don't know that. You know, I mean, I'm not knocking you, but you don't know that shit. And when you say stuff like that, it discredits what we just talked about that was factual and is provable and is real. You know what I mean? I just want to, and I'm not trying to be a jerk or say you don't know what you're talking about or anything like that, but I'm just saying that is pure speculation. There's no proof of that whatsoever at all. That is just something you've hypothesized from connections you've made, from what you've read and stuff like that. There's nothing to back that up or prove that. And that's why I keep that shit out of my videos, is because I want the real shit to get through. And I want people to know what we can prove. I understand the Raw connection. I've done the Law of One. You're talking to the king of this. I've been doing this shit for a very long time. A very long time. And you can agree if you like. I know a lot of people do believe and buy into that stuff, but the truth is, we're trying to reach people that haven't been reached. People that find this stuff to be out there, let alone the Law of One, Raw shit, and fucking Native Americans were made from Mars. Come on now. You know what I mean? Like, that's got its own time and place. And it's I'll try to touch on some videos of that instead of, but I want to separate that from this, because this is factual. This is evidence-based in reality. This isn't speculation. This isn't theory. This is truth. And that's the difference. And, yeah. I mean, honestly, and it's like, I feel like when we say stuff like that, I'm not knocking you either. I'm not saying it's not all connected either. I want to state that as well. I'm not saying I don't believe you. I'm not saying I don't believe it. I'm not saying it's not all connected. I'm saying it's hard enough for people to accept this. Let alone when we say those kind of things, it's very easy for them to discredit us, dismiss us, and call us crazy. You know what I mean? So, we'll touch on some of the other stuff too, the more wilder theories and shit as well. But I just want people to feel the gravity of how real all of this is, and how orchestrated all of this is, and how dark all of it is, and how there is an agenda. And whether you believe it or not, this one world system, these are the dark undertones of it, and this is what powers it all. It's driven by these fucking human trafficking, it's driven by this ritual abuse, it's driven by this. That's what powers this dark machine. And when people talk about the devil and Satanism and Lucifer, this is the shit they're talking about. It's got nothing to do with fucking, the little dilly-dally shit they try to feed to you on mainstream. It boils down to some really serious, dark shit. And that's what we're up against. That kind of energy, people willing to do those kind of things, for power. So, I want to thank all of you guys, all of you so much, for just doing, all that you do. I want to ask you, please, if you're watching this, you get something from it, please, please, please hit the like, hit the thumbs up, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you've clicked the bell, and you've got all on the notifications checked. Share this video, share this link, go follow me on the other platforms. The links are in the description: BitChute, Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of them. The backup YouTube channel as well. Please, please, please donate and support. It helps me tremendously if you guys do. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Facebook Messenger Pay, Patreon, YouTube subscriptions, Facebook subscriptions. Please, please, please support me. I definitely could use the support right now, so it's greatly appreciated for those of you who will. And those who super chatted tonight, much love. I appreciate it so much. I'm going to hit the super chat people just one more time. It was Cosmic Blue, Tim Hanvey, and Crystal Dawn. You guys are the shit for that. I appreciate you. And those who donated on the other platforms, I'll shout you out in the next one. Please book your own personal tarot reading, 513-393-2396, or email therealbestdampodcast@gmail.com. They're $50. They take about 30 to 45 minutes, and they're awesome. You want to know what's going on? I'm telling you, I crush them. I promise you, I'm one of the best out there doing them. I've been doing them for years. I will be dropping some tarot videos, astrology videos, all different types of videos coming up, guys. I promise you. We've got so much coming, man. So much. We're going to touch on everything because I really want to get back at this. I would like to have people help me get more involved, more guests, just all of it. So, thank you so much for watching. I love all of you guys, man. I love all of you. Elephant Tusk, Matthew Short, Kimberly F., Deborah Trow, Cosmic Blue, Baby, Jam Low. Thank you so much. Stool Purger. I'm just trying to make sure I hit the names that I see in here. This has been a pretty good chat too, so I can't go back so far. So, alright, thank you so much for watching. Guys, I love you so much, and I'll see you next time. Y'all have a wonderful one. Peace.
I can't understand people smiling. It's all beyond me.
Lucky sevens, no expression, about to burn on my possessions. I'm infection, quickly spreading, not too keen on my reflection. Death makes legends, like the essence. Once I've run out, smoke the veteran. Edgar Allan wrote this gospel loosely based on my obsessions. Bitches begging, I can't make not one exception. Quicksand, you's about to step in. Switch your whole perception. Armageddon, don't feel threatened. When will Hoolie learn his lesson? How y'all like my resurrection? I could disappear in seconds. Fuck is rich, ashes, dust, and crumbling brick. Psychopathic lunatic, breathing does not do the trick. Just got my medulla split. In my land, I'm ruler, bitch. In your land, just a fugitive. I'm useless as your crucifix. You stupid bitch. Lay back, fade to black. Shut your eyelids, just relax. What's up with this blood, man? Always falling through the cracks. It's the beast of yucca flesh. I put down the drugs, man, but I miss doing drugs, man. Left my mark on Riley, Pistol Pete. Always me. She walked in and watched me make a beat. Then I beat. Pull up at your door like trick or treat. And you free. No rest for the wicked, bones is getting weak. Leave me be. Daylight Lugosi, fixes in rotation. Foggy hilltop, that's my undisclosed location. Swimming Crystal Lake, but just beware of Jason. Give the dead some life, if not they'll have to take one. Several times, I hate you hoes. Leviosa, I'll make you float. You wonder if I forgave you? No, in your nightmares making my debut. Whoa. Hooligan Cougar, shadow intruder, avenue cruiser, stimulant user, scumbag loser. 5 hoes on me like Carlos Boozer. Judgment days upon us, I won't hesitate. Tempt you to my dark side in some clever way. Fuck that price of fame, you know I'll never pay. These might be the last words that I ever say.
Accepting for death, or is his only way out.